Hello all, this is Halloween. If you enjoy cemetery walkthroughs and learning about the history of cemeteries as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking you to Ridgewood Cemetery in Tampa. I think that this may be a cemetery that I've been kind of driving past my whole life. And it's pretty exciting for me because it's a historic cemetery established sometime between the 1940s and the 1950s. And it has a really rich history. I've been looking for this cemetery for a long time, so I'm hoping that this one is it. Enjoy! I'm here at Taco Sun in Temple Terrace. Gonna go in and get a bite to eat. Just leaving Taco Sun now. This is a restaurant that my husband loves, and we have one in St. Pete, but the thing is, we went there one time and I got like tostadas or something, and I had a piece of what seemed to be a marble cutting board in my food, and I nearly cracked a tooth on it. So it kind of turned me off from the Taco Sun near us. But this one was really good. I had a taco salad. It had shredded beef. If you love those pickled onions, they were generous with the pickled onions. Had tomato, generous with the cilantro, the sour cream, and the cheese. It was a really good salad. I actually really enjoyed it. It also had black beans and a little bit, not too much, Mexican rice. And it was just perfect. It filled me up. And now I'm on my way to another cemetery, which I hope I have not already been to. But I kind of drove past it looking for this other one, Ridgewood Cemetery, which I was reading up online about it being on the campus of a school. And it looked like, in pictures and everything, that there was a historic marker. It looked like it was going to be a cemetery that I could visit. But all I saw was school. So fortunately, I passed this other one on the way to Ridgewood Cemetery, and I'm hoping that it's not one that I've already been to. But we'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed, and we're headed there now. As I was driving by the other cemetery, which also happens to be one that I've already been to, which was the Myrtle Hill Cemetery, I looked again at the school and its surroundings and found the Ridgewood Cemetery. It's not much. There's no markers. This is a long-lost cemetery that was more recently discovered by ground-penetrating radar. They were able to uncover 175 burials in this cemetery. How someone knew that it was a cemetery, I don't know. Maybe looking at history books or something. But someone had discovered it, and they had hired geophysical engineers to come and use the radar to penetrate the grounds and uncovered that there were in fact 175 caskets. I think 77 of which were children. Like I said, that was just recently, and I see no headstones in this cemetery. But we're gonna go and read the historic marker and see what it has to say. I think my facts are straight. I don't know. I read it before I left the house. I might have some of the numbers wrong, but it should tell us here on the historic marker. It says Ridgewood Cemetery. In 1933, the city of Tampa bought a 40-acre parcel at this location, later setting aside 5 acres for a pauper's cemetery to bury indigent residents. In 1942, the city of Tampa named the cemetery Ridgewood, and it was actively used between 1942 and 1954 as a burial ground for African American and indigent, I can't say that word, indigent families in Tampa. The cemetery remained mostly undisturbed until the city sold the land to investors, who then sold it to the school board of Hillsborough County in 1959. In 1960, King High School was opened on the north end of the property, opposite the cemetery. In 2019, Tampa resident Ray Reed shared records with the school district of a possible cemetery at that site. Historical records vary, but indicate that between 250 and 268 burials occurred at Ridgewood. As many as 77 of those burials were infants or small children. Scans done by ground-penetrating radar show 145 burials still intact in the south area of the school's property. Every record discovered indicates all burials were done in the same small area, taking up about 1 acre. Following an investigation, legal authority was turned back over to the school district. A memorial designed by Jarrell McCants was completed in 2022. If there are burial grounds with people's loved ones there, it's historic and it should be preserved and maintained by somebody, because you can't just forget about history. So there's a memorial in here evidently, and I see it. Oh, cool. So like I said, there's a lot of burials here but no headstones. It even said online that some of the burials in here were in such a state of disrepair, like the caskets had broken down in such a way that they were no longer identifiable. So even what's stated on the historic marker was 268, I think as many as 268 burials. There could even be more than that, that just deteriorated over the course of 75 years time. Or maybe they're including that, I'm not really sure. In any event, this is a pretty cool find, even though there are no memorials to see. Just knowing that I stand here on this property that looks vacant, like nothing here, but there are many buried here, so that's just kind of cool. And this memorial over here is built, and I don't know if it says the names. I know they did do some testing to kind of try and find out who was buried here, so maybe this could be a project that the school did. We've seen that in some cases too, as far as getting the students involved. This was primarily African American, and also a pauper's burial ground. Basically, poor people were buried here, and African American. So yeah, this is really cool. Look, a peacock. That's pretty. Have some little artists over here at the school. There's a turtle. Looks like a turtle here. So yeah, no names. At least not on this memorial. These are the grounds. You see there's a ball field right over here. Basketball courts. There's the school, King High School. So at one point all of this property was just the school, until they said, whoa, wait a minute, you know. They called over people, and that was recent, in more recent years. But they, you know, said, hey, this is a burial ground. And I'm glad they took the time to do that, because now this area can be preserved and maintained and remembered as such, rather than just destroying it or building on it. And here's some more of the grounds here. Wish some of the headstones were still intact. You know? Usually they'll hold up 75 years. I mean, we've seen headstones way older than that, you know? But what it probably was is that those buried here, you know, like I said, it was a pauper's graveyard, basically. It was for the poor, older African Americans, things like that. They probably had, I would imagine, they didn't have a lot of money to buy a proper headstone. So a lot of their headstones were more than likely wooden crosses and things of that nature. We've seen some in other African American cemeteries that were just marked by shells and things of that nature, because they just didn't have the money to buy a proper headstone. So that's probably what happened, is that they weren't properly marked, and what was marking the graves didn't hold up over the course of time. Well, I know it wasn't much to see maybe for you, but I mean, for me it was pretty cool. It's an awesome find. You know, it's different than what we're normally doing, and at the same time we're kind of learning about preservation of these historic cemeteries and bringing them back, really, and trying to preserve them over time or after a long time. And it's nice that that's been done. I mean, it has a nicer gate entrance than most of the ones I've seen that are still active, you know? So it's a really cool cemetery. It's a really different thing to stumble upon, and I'm glad I found it. I didn't give up on it. I was still looking, and I found it. Anyway, that does it for this one. I'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you loved today's episode. I wasn't going to the cemetery and seeing all these remarkable old tombstones and monuments that told about the people laid to rest there. But it was a walk through history. And it was important to me that I visit that cemetery and go in and look at just what appeared to be an empty space with nothing, because it's much more than that. I'm grateful to the city of Tampa for restoring it and keeping it what it is, rather than saying, oh well, there's no headstones here, let's just build an Amscot. It's nice to see when the city appreciates history for what it is and takes measures to clean it up and maintain it, and it even has a historic sign marking the cemetery. So I thought that that was really cool. What wasn't cool is that as I was leaving the cemetery, some guy in a big truck just comes in the cemetery and he's driving all over these old graves when there is a clear path. The path only leads through the cemetery into the monument that's built there. And that's it. So if you're going in there, just go in there, park your car outside, and visit the cemetery. Walk down the path into the monument and back out, taking the path. Otherwise, you're going to be walking on top of people's grave sites that are unmarked. 268 that we know of. So that wasn't cool. I wasn't sure what his intentions were. It was probably just a kid from the high school skipping class or something, but it wasn't cool. Also, I just wanted to say, if you are out there on the roads, it is Christmas time. Be kind. Drive carefully. Drive patiently and be nice to people because it's the holidays. And for some, the holidays are not great times because they're missing a loved one, or it just highlights anyone who's missing out of your life, kind of, because it's a family sort of holiday. All these beautiful families are getting together, they're enjoying each other's company, and when there's someone missing, it makes it a sad time of year, especially somebody significant, like a child, or your mom or dad, or even a grandma or grandpa. And everybody out there on the road has something important to do. So if you're in a hurry, or you need to get somewhere at a certain time, leave with plenty of time, and then some, because you know that there's going to be traffic, there's going to be lights, there's going to be people out there driving slower. So leave with enough time to get to where you're going so that you don't have to flick somebody off. You know, I'm just saying this because I got flicked off on the way there because I needed to get over, and this guy, instead of trying to let me over, sped up. So I had to speed up to get in front of him. Then he jumps in front of me and flicks me off. That's unnecessary and uncalled for, so just be patient. I know I'm a chill driver. I hate driving, but I'm a chill driver. When I'm out there on the road, I'm driving the speed limit. I give myself plenty of time to get to where I'm going, and if not, hey, I'm always late, but worth the wait. You know what I'm saying? You know, even with my job, I'm not the most punctual person, but when I get there, I work, and I work hard, and I work overtime, so I think it balances itself out. I'm just saying, it's the holidays, be nice to everybody. You know, you don't know what somebody else is going through, and, you know, that kind of stupidity is just not necessary, and it's uncalled for, especially this time of year. But anyway, that does it for today's episode. If you haven't already, please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video, and have a Merry Christmas. Be around your loved ones, enjoy it. If you can't be around your loved ones, have a relaxing day, and just take some time for yourself. Merry Christmas. I'll see you next time.